カバーはほら33億溶かしてるから、私のフェラーリなんか全然マシだ。
Hi everyone, I'm KP, your otaku Japanese teacher. Today's phrase is 全然まし. It means it's not that bad, or it's way better compared to something worse. Today we're going to learn real Japanese from my Oshi's clip. Let's practice real otaku Japanese with me. Before we move on to the main topic, I want to tell you why I started this series since this is my first episode. I'm a huge VTuber fan. In the past, when I watched English-speaking VTubers, there were many times when I couldn't understand their English, and honestly, it felt really lonely. Everyone in chat was laughing, but I didn't understand why. My Oshi was saying something funny, but I felt like I was the only one being left behind. But when I studied English, looked up expressions, and finally understood what my Oshi was saying, I was so happy. I was like, oh, so that's what it means. That's why everyone was laughing. That moment felt amazing. So now, I want Japanese learners to experience the same feeling. I want you to understand what your Oshi is saying. I want you to understand the VTuber clips, Japanese comments, memes, and otaku culture more deeply. Because when you finally understand your Oshi's word, it feels like you got a little closer to them. And that is the magic of language learning. For now, I want to make many lessons mainly using clips from my Oshi Kson. But I also love Hololive and I love many amazing indie VTubers around me. So in the future, I want to introduce more Japanese expressions from Hololive VTubers, indie VTubers, and many other creators I love. This is not just a normal Japanese lesson. This is VTuber Clip Japanese class. Also, I'm going to make regular otaku Japanese lessons too, so please check my shorts, videos, live streams, and community posts. If you want to learn Japanese through VTubers, anime, memes, and oshikatsu, you're in the right place. Okay, now let's move on to the main topic. Today's sentence is
カバーはほら33億溶かしてるから、私のフェラーリなんか全然マシだ。
The meaning is basically, you know, cover lost 3.3 billion yen. So compared to that, the Ferrari level money Kson missed out on from V-shoujo is not that bad. This sentence is not just about money. It has many layers. Joking, sarcasm, self-deprecating humor, comparison, and very VTuber community energy. Very chaotic and very otaku. Today we're going to study 4 expressions. ほら、33億溶かしてる。フェラーリなんか、全然マシ。Let's get started. First, let's look at
カバーはほら、カバーはほら、カバーはほら。
カバーはほら。Cover means the cover corporation, and wa is the topic marker. So
カバー
means as for cover or speaking of cover, then we have point 1. ほら。ほら. This is a very common casual Japanese word. ほら can mean, you know, look, see, or come on, you know what I mean. For example, ほら、昨日言ってたじゃん. You know, I told you yesterday. ほら、あの有名な VTuber. You know, that famous VTuber. So when Kson says
カバーはほら。カバー
はほら. The feeling is more like, as for cover, you know. Speaking of cover, you know that thing, right? It sounds casual, conversational, and very natural. Point 2. 33億溶かしてる.
33億溶かしてる。33億溶かしてる。33億溶かしてる。
33億溶かしてる. 33億 means 3.3 billion yen, and 溶かしてる comes from the verb 溶かす. Usually, 溶かす means to melt. For example, 氷を溶かす to melt ice, チョコを溶かす to melt chocolate. But in casual Japanese, we also say お金を溶かす. Literally, it means to melt money. But the real meaning is to lose a lot of money, to burn through money, to blow money. For example, 株で100万溶かした. I lost 1 million yen in stocks. ガチャで給料を溶かした. I blew my salary on gacha. 新しい事業でお金を溶かした. They burned through money on a new business project. So in this clip, 33億溶かしてる means they lost 3.3 billion yen, or more casually, they burned through 3.3 billion yen. Money is not literally melting, but emotionally it feels like goodbye money, it disappeared into the void. Very dramatic. Very internet Japanese. Point 3. フェラーリなんか.
私のフェラーリなんか。
Next, 私のフェラーリなんか. Literally, 私のフェラーリ means my Ferrari. But in this context, it does not mean Kson bought a Ferrari. Here, Ferrari means the amount of money she missed out on enough to buy a Ferrari. So it is more like the Ferrari level money I missed out on. Then we have nanka. In this sentence, nanka nanka makes the thing sound smaller, less important, or not a big deal. So, 私のフェラーリなんか means something like, the Ferrari level money I missed out on is nothing compared to that. Of course, Ferrari level money is huge. For normal people, that is very big money. But compared to 3.3 billion yen, suddenly it sounds smaller. That contrast is the joke. It's like saying, okay, yes, the money I missed out on was enough to buy a Ferrari. But compared to that, come on, mine is cute. Very bold, very funny, very Kson. Point 4. 全然まし。
全然まし、全然まし、全然まし。
And finally, today's main phrase, 全然まし. Let's start with まし. まし means better, less bad, not as bad, but be careful. まし does not mean perfect, amazing, or wonderful. It means it's not great, but it's better than something worse. For example, 雨だけど台風よりはマシ. It's raining, but it's better than a typhoon. 寝不足だけど徹夜よりはマシ. I'm sleep deprived, but it's better than staying up all night. So マシ is more like, well, it could be worse. Then we have 全然. Many Japanese learners learn that 全然 is used with negative sentences. For example, 全然わかりません. I don't understand at all. But in modern casual Japanese, people often use 全然 with positive words too. For example, 全然大丈夫, totally fine. 全然いいよ, totally okay. So, 全然マシ means it's way better. It's not that bad at all. Compared to that, this is totally better. In Kson's sentence, 私のフェラーリなんか全然マシだよ means the Ferrari level money I missed out on is not that bad compared to that. Or more naturally, compared to losing 3.3 million yen, my Ferrari level loss is nothing. Now let's put everything together. カバーはほら、as for cover, you know, 33億溶かしてるから、they lost 3.3 billion yen. So, 私のフェラーリなんか the Ferrari level money I missed out on 全然マシだよ is not that bad at all. So the full sentence means カバーはほら33億溶かしてるから私のフェラーリなんか全然マシだよ You know, cover lost 3.3 billion yen, so compared to that, the Ferrari level money I missed out on is totally not that bad. The important point is the comparison. She's comparing 3.3 billion yen with Ferrari level money. And she's saying, mine is smaller, so it's not as bad. That is why 全然マシ works perfectly here. Practice time. Now let's practice. Repeat after me. 全然マシ, 全然マシ. It's not that bad. One more time. 全然マシ. Now let's make it longer. それよりは全然マシ. It's way better than that. Now another one. 私のミスなんか全然マシ. My mistake is nothing compared to that. And finally, フェラーリなんか全然マシ. My Ferrari level loss is nothing compared to that. Okay, maybe don't use that one in real life unless you're Kson. For most of us, even convenience store snacks are serious business. Mini quiz time! What does 全然マシ mean? A. Perfect and amazing. B. Not as bad compared to something worse. C. I don't understand at all. The answer is B. Next question. What does お金を溶かす mean? A. To literally melt coins. B. To save money. C. To lose or burn through money. The answer is C. Great job! Today we studied this sentence.
カバーはほら33億溶かしてるから私のフェラーリなんか全然マシだよ。
And we learned 4 expressions. ほら means you know, see, come on. お金を溶かす means to lose money, to burn through money. なんか can make something sound smaller or less important. And 全然マシ means it's not that bad compared to something worse. So the natural meaning of the sentence is, you know, cover lost 3.3 billion yen, so compared to that, the Ferrari level money I missed out on is nothing. It's not that bad. This sentence is casual, dramatic, a little sarcastic, and very real Japanese. Exactly the kind of Japanese you hear in VTuber clips, but almost never see in textbooks. That's it for today's VTuber clip Japanese class. If you learned something new, please write a sentence using 全然マシ in the comments. For example, 寝不足だけど徹夜よりは全然マシ. I'm sleep deprived, but it's way better than staying up all night. I read all of your comments, so please try making your own sentences. And don't forget to check my shorts, videos, live streams, and community posts for more real otaku Japanese lessons. Thank you for watching until the end. I'm KP, your otaku Japanese teacher. See you in the next lesson. Bye bye!
最後まで見てくれてありがとう。チャンネル登録して一緒に日本語を勉強しよう。
Thanks for watching. Subscribe and join me on our Japanese learning journey. See you next time. Bye bye.